Okay guys, it's time to save the trees again, and today we're removing English ivy from our native trees. So, first of all, English ivy is an invasive, and it has this triangular leaf, which is very easy to identify. So, it has really long and twinkly vines on it. So what we want to do with vines is we want to cut a window through it. So as you can see, a window means cutting it high up, as high you can reach, and then pulling it down, then cutting it at the bottom. And that creates a window. Then the vine will die on its own eventually. That's the main part. Sometimes we encounter huge vines that are difficult to cut. So, first of all, we have to clear the leaves off of this vine to get a clear vision of where it's crawling to and where the roots are. Actually, the vine that you see right here is not English ivy at all. English ivy has a really thin vine, but this is a huge one. This is actually poison ivy. And for poison ivy, it sticks onto the tree and it has this really hairy vine. I'll get to that later and tell you why am I removing this from this tree. And the main thing is still to cut a window. So as you can see, I cut below, I cut as low as I could down to the roots, and then I hold it high up, and then I cut the top off. So, just like this. We use a saw, you can use a lopper, whatever you want. And the main thing is to protect the trees, so we don't really want to cut through the tree's bark, so that's why we lift it after we cut the bottom. And then, this thing just comes off. It will eventually die because it does not have this connection between the tree and the ground. And this is the after video of the tree. So we cut a window through it, we got everything off of the tree, we protected the bark. That makes the tree live. So the main reason I said not yet is that I told you I was removing English ivy, but then I told you the vine is actually poison ivy vine, as you can see right here. It's a really hairy vine, but next to it there's like this thin vine on the left, which is not at all hairy. That is English ivy. The hairy vine is poison ivy, which is native, but we remove it to protect the trees once in a while, because it tangles up the tree so hard that eventually it will kill the tree off by sucking away its nutrients, because that's how vines survive. And it gets really confusing sometimes to identify English ivy with poison ivy, but you can see that the leaves are different. The English ivy has a triangular shaped leaf, while the poison ivy has this really huge and hairy leaf, right? So that's why you don't want to touch it. And this is how we remove English ivy and poison ivy from trees.